Hi, good morning. Welcome to my kitchen. My name is Susan Buchser-Lochocki, and I'm reading a book called, it's for young readers. This book is called If You Were There When They Signed the Constitution. It's by Elizabeth Levy and illustrated by Joan Holub. It's from Scholastics. They make good children's books. This is for young readers, so, I'll show you the words and then you can freeze the frame maybe, or do a screenshot and then you can read too if you want. So this part 5 is where we are in the book. If you're interested, go back into my YouTube channel and check out all the other parts. So I'm going to pick up here. It starts, what was Ben Franklin like? Ben Franklin couldn't resist trying out new ideas. Many of his new ideas were about science. He invented the lightning rod, bifocals, and the Franklin stove. He also thought of new political ideas. He helped write the Declaration of Independence in 1783. He helped write the peace treaty with England. By 1787, he was an old man in his 80s. He was so sick that he didn't think he could do much at the convention, but he knew he was needed. He had to be carried to the convention in a chair on 4 long poles carried by 4 convicts who were hired from the jail for the day. It was the first sedan chair ever seen in this country. So they're talking about the convention plan. There's the chair. There's Ben Franklin, and here are the words. I think you can see them, right? Have them all in the frame. Okay. So then, what was George Washington like? George Washington was the most famous delegate at the convention. After the Revolution, many people thought George Washington would make himself king. People loved him and respected him. He was really our first national hero. He was a proud man and prickly. He had a quick temper and could burst into a rage and bellow like a bull. He was fearless. He was 55 at the time of the convention, but he had more energy than men half his age. He loved to ride horses at top speed. He could dance for 3 hours at a time. He wore false teeth made of ivory, not wood, and they didn't fit very well. His false teeth made it hard for him to talk, so sometimes he didn't like to speak in public. But he loved to be with people, and he loved to listen. He would go to the tavern and share in the gossip. He had so much company that he once said that he and his wife hadn't dined alone for 20 years. Now, let me show you a picture. So, picture, and then here is the text. All right, who was Alexander Hamilton and what was he like? Alexander Hamilton was a delegate from New York State. He was born in the West Indies. He was probably one of the smartest young men at the convention. Some people at the convention said he was too smart for his own good. He would go on to become our first Secretary of Treasury. Hamilton was small and good-looking. Men at that time wore tight pants called breeches that ended at the knee. They also wore stockings, sometimes of silk. Sometimes men with skinny calves put bags of sand under their stockings to look like muscles. Occasionally the sandbags would leak over the floor and the ladies would giggle. But Hamilton never had need of sandbags in his stockings. People say he had a graceful turn of the leg. Here, I'll show you him. I have the text that goes with it. Who was Gouverneur Morris? Gouverneur Morris was a delegate from Pennsylvania. He was another of the young men who had helped George Washington in the Revolution. Gouverneur Morris was a wealthy young man. He lost a leg in an accident, but he still managed to dance on his wooden leg. Gouverneur Morris was always up for a joke. One night he boasted that he wasn't afraid of proud George Washington. He made a bet to slap George Washington on the back. The next day, he thought better of it. He didn't actually slap Washington on the back. He just put his hand on Washington's arm. The great man turned and looked at me, and I wished the earth had yawned and swallowed me up, wrote Morris afterward. I guess they were afraid of George Washington. Okay. I think I have time for one more. What was James Madison like? James Madison is often called the father of the Constitution. He was short, 5 feet 6 inches, no bigger than half a piece of soap, said a man who knew him. He had pale blue eyes and brown hair. He never had to work for a living. His father had built up an estate of 1,000 acres with many slaves in Virginia. Most wealthy young men in the South were expected to ride, hunt, and drink, but Madison loved to read. He was shy. He thought of himself as sickly, but as the historians Christopher and James Collier said, in an age when few diseases could be cured, he was rarely sick. He went from one high-pressured job to another, member of Virginia government, congressman, secretary of state, and then president. He was a politician until his death at 85. And that's James Madison. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. We'll pick this up tomorrow. That's the end of part 5. I wish you a wonderful day or evening, whatever time it is. Thank you for stopping by at my kitchen. I'm Susan Buchser-Lochocki. Have a good day.